Hey, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. We are very blessed to have Barbara King back on the show. This is the third time. She was actually on, it's just a year ago, and we're going to do our yearly checkup. But first, I'd like to thank Jill Davis for letting us use this beautiful space at the Hendrick Hudson Free Library, right in beautiful Montrose, New York. There's so many great things happening here. I was just in the Constance Dykman room, and they have some beautiful artwork that you could look at. There's so many things. They have the children's room here. They have so many great services, and of course, books. So come take a book out. It's actually, this is the month of February coming up, so it's Black History Month, and you could read about some of the great, beautiful people that helped shape this country that we live in. And speaking of shaping, Barbara is in the midst of helping young people try to figure out what they're going to do with their life. And she's been doing such a great job, and I'm so blessed to have her on the show. So thanks, Barbara.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you so much.
And
I
just
appreciate
tell
that.
us, yeah, tell us how this year has been for you.
So far, it's been good. It's been
Okay.
a little hectic. From the first time that I came, we were just starting
Yeah.
and things were moving a little slow.
Uh-huh.
But now we are in the midst of things and we've been going since 2020.
Right.
And so things are a bit hectic but we're rolling. We're rolling with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you wrote a book.
I did. I wrote a book.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we had interns who were working, and in 2023 we celebrated 50 years of hip hop. And because I feel like I was in the midst of all of that, and so many of the hip hop artists I've been able to have encounters with.
Wow.
And so I decided, and talking with them, we decided, you know what? Let's tell the story. Let's honor them. And so that's what I did. So I wrote a book called Encounters Honoring the 50 Years of Hip Hop.
That's amazing. Tell us some of the stories.
So there's a story in the book about Tupac Shakur. I am a girl from Harlem, New York. And so there's this basketball called the Rucker Games. And so we're walking down the street and he's just standing there on the corner by himself. And I'm going, and I'm such a huge Tupac fan. And I went, that's Tupac Shakur. He's standing there by himself. And he was just so humble. And I went and I stood next to him and he was just like, how you doing?
Oh my gosh.
And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And so it was things like that. And it's so unfortunate because Tupac is gone, Biz Markie is gone, and um, just to talk to them, used to think that I could be a writer. And I was like, I'm going to write lyrics and I'm going to write music and I'm going to be this big. That didn't happen. And so he kind of took me under his wings and he said, I'm going to take you over to um, Cold Chillin' Records and we're going to try to do something. It didn't come to happen, but I just had a great time being with him and just seeing how they operate. And there's a story in there about Ike C, who was part of a hip hop group, and he's still to this day someone that I can go to and say, "Is
Oh,
this really, good? What's happening here?" And so the book, it kind of tells you. There's pictures. There's loads of pictures in here. There's pictures of me with different artists, and so I just think that it's a good thing because we have the hip hop, the rappers today.
yeah.
I think that we look at them and we forget about the old and we forget about what was.
Yeah.
And so, and we can't forget about those legendary artists with the legendary music, Grandmaster Flash and
Yeah.
Melly Mel, Don't
Yeah.
Push
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah.
the song, The Message.
Yeah.
And that was coming from individuals who were in sort of urban neighborhoods who like, what do we do? How do we channel our energy?
Yeah.
And they channel it and they put it into great hip hop.
It's awesome.
So yeah, and to see that it's lasted for over 50
Yeah.
years is
It
amazing.
is amazing.
It's amazing.
For me, it was funny because I listened to everything. I grew up, of course, listening to Frank Sinatra and all that music with my dad. But then I got into like rock and roll and heavy metal, but I still loved, like hip hop and disco music. And, I loved all kinds of music. I thought it
Right.
was awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, it was Blondie, she kind of put, the hip hop scene on the scene in
Yeah,
Manhattan. So
right.
it was that mixture. So that was a good thing.
It
That was
really
good
was.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so I'm kind of glad I was able to be there and to experience it and to have these different encounters. I talk about an encounter with, he wasn't a hip hopper, but he was in the scene. And there's a chapter there about Mike Tyson. So it was amazing. We were at a hip hop party, and he was there.
yeah.
And you would think at that time, everyone was like very afraid of him because he was like,
Oh, yeah.
but he was on the floor and we danced all
Oh my
night, and
gosh.
it was amazing time.
That's very
So
cool.
those were the good times, and I just felt like I wanted to share that
Yeah,
you know, with the masses and
yeah,
have people enjoy what I came to enjoy.
definitely. They say, "Oh, I wrote a book." I mean, come on, that takes a lot of work. How about the publication and the, you know?
Victor, I have to give that to my staff that
Okay,
works at my organization. I put the stories there and they just did everything else. And
that's
so
amazing.
I'm very pleased and very blessed to have them on my team. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Well, networking. Talk about networking. How you were able to get to this point now.
Well, I think the whole network situation is that I I actually get interns through the city, and we work with different agencies with the city, and so we want to make sure that our youth are having somewhere that they can go, earn a couple of dollars, and they are getting skills. And so this is amazing that they were able to kind of bring this out of me and put this onto paper.
Yeah,
And that, just being able to have that in the pocket, sort of say,
yeah,
and have the city say, we're going to give you interns and we're going to pay for them to come and work for your organization because we believe in what you're doing with your organization.
yes. Beautiful. Now, what's the situation with housing? How are you able to help them find housing?
Well, we're still working with them, and
Hmm.
we're working with our mentees, and take trips mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's just a whole realm of different things that we're doing. Um, we're just making sure that we're talking to the youth, we're keeping in touch with them. If they need our help with housing, we're going in there and we're just saying, let's put, boots to the ground
Yeah,
and let's get it done and let's see who we need to call.
yeah,
If we need to make a phone call, if we need to, go there with you, we're there. So that's basically what we're doing.
excellent.
Yeah.
Now, how come can someone, if they want to help mentor, how can they get involved?
They just have to contact us. We're at Journey with Us at taketripsmes.org, and just say, we want to help. We want
Yeah,
to find out what's happening, and we want to be a part of what you're doing because, as we can see, the recidivism rate just keeps rising,
yeah,
and we don't want that to happen because most times, um, a youth that comes out of the system, more than likely they're going to go back in if they don't get the right rehabilitation.
right.
And most times the crime is going to be, or the offense is going to be even worse than it was the first time.
Yeah,
So we got to catch that. And that's what we're aiming to do at Take Trips MES. We want to make sure that we are working to help the youth and walk them through the process because not often do they know how to get through the process. And we want to make sure that they know and that they know that someone is here to
yeah.
help them with that.
We talk about 50 years of hip hop, and I turned 58, so I'll be 59 in March. But my parents had a restaurant, and at 8 years old, they brought us down to the restaurant to start working, and it was an experience. It was something that they taught us how to sweep and mop, and then they taught us how to wash dishes, and then they taught us how to cook. And these are all things that And then, of course, we went to school, so we were learning math and science and
Right.
social studies and, all the things that they teach you in school.
Mm-hmm.
But they also taught us values, respect and, especially respect for your elders and, how to get along with people. And I was blessed. I have 8 brothers and 1 sister. And now I got 25 nieces and nephews.
Wow.
They're all having kids. So now I have another 15 grand nieces and nephews. But, it's a common bond. It's, everybody's working together.
Absolutely.
So it's funny now that, I have a little extra time, I actually go and help out at the church. And I get 3 hours by myself to sweep and mop. But it's
But that's
something that I was
instilled in you,
taught. That's
right?
right.
Right. Yeah.
And, and then we got some clothes from this thrift shop, and these people are just, dying to help people, and there's so many people out there that want to help, and they just need a little direction.
Right.
So, what are some other ways people can get involved?
Definitely, and donate. From monetary to clothing, whatever you have, if you have time, if you have we're taking everything because so much is so needed. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can because we can no longer keep just incarcerating
No.
individuals. We can't do that anymore because it's not helping. So we need to do something different. We have
Yes.
to save our youth, to save our communities. We have to do something different. So, I mean, just if you want to get involved, just contact us. My whole team, as I said, journey with us at taketripsmes.org and send us a note or anything. We even have a contact. There's a contact on the website where if you're feeling like, and I think there's also a barcode there, if you're feeling like you need some help right away, hit that barcode and someone will contact you and put you in touch with who you need to be in touch with, because we know that I started this organization based on my brother, who was a part of the Mississippi prison system for most of his adult life. And when he came out after about a year, you know, unbeknownst to us, his family members, we didn't know that he was suffering inside.
Yeah.
And the next thing we know, he had taken his own life. And so we don't want that to happen to another family. And I don't want that to happen to another family, which is why I put this organization together.
Yes.
And I said, we have to do something, and it has to start with our babies.
Yeah.
And, they need to get the learning that when your mother and your father took you to the restaurant and said you need to sweep, we need to hold our babies' hands and we need to walk them through the process. Yeah.
So it's February, or we're going into February, and it's Black History Month. Who are some of the influences that you have from history beyond hip hop? I just read about Frederick Douglass, and he was the most portraits of anybody in the 19th century, more than Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
So then that led me to Booker T. Washington, who was an incredible person. He just, I love to hear, but I'm jealous of the fact that people, that they have this, insatious need to read, you know what I mean? And I wish I was a better reader, and I wish that if every book that was ever read to me, I was able to retain almost every word read. But to sit there and try and read a book, was difficult for me. And I think if we could sit and possibly read to kids, I think that would be huge.
Well, that's a big thing because we need to bring that back, right? Once we got all the technology, we did away with reading. It's funny because I was trying to spell a word the other day. I wanted to spell environment, and it looked so funny to me. And I said, "That's not correct." It was correct,
Right.
but I'd written it myself, and I didn't have. It wasn't on the computer where it spell checked it for me. It wasn't on my phone where it spell checked it for me. And I said, I don't understand. we have to go back to reading and writing and putting the technology to the side for
Yeah,
a little bit.
I know.
So that's a big thing. But I think when we talk about Black history, I don't have anyone in particular that I say, this is the person that I really, enjoy, because I enjoy a lot of them, but I really love James Baldwin.
Okay.
And but I like what's happening today. I'm a big Angela Rye fan. I
Right.
love to see her talk. But I think that it's more for us to focus on our youth.
Mm.
I want to see the youth talk. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to be able to listen to them
Yeah.
and not just, hear them, but actually listen
Yeah.
and learn from them.
Right.
So I'm always hopeful that Black History Month, March, April, any time
Yeah.
that we can get our youth to say, especially youth of color, that we can get them to talk. It's a beautiful thing, and we can actually sit and just listen to them,
Hmm.
because I don't know a youth that has ever said, I don't want to be heard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know that youth.
Right.
So all youth want to be heard, but
Definitely.
it's up to us as the adults to really listen. So that's the thing for me for Black History Month. I think is to just make sure that we're there for the youth, especially youth of color,
Mm.
and say, I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
I'm here to you have something to say? Well, I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And let's see how we can fix it.
Excellent. Now you have, what does it take? Something Tuesdays?
Oh,
Oh,
Giving
Giving Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, so in November we did Giving Tuesday.
Right.
And that was good. We always want to make sure that we put that out there, donors. We got a grant from Citizens
All right.
NYC. We received a grant from them. And so we ended up getting donations and getting clothing and taking it to some of the schools. And that was exciting to
Yeah.
do that. I have youth who are out of the system, and I said to them, let me know what you need. If you need a Metro card to get to work, we have a youth who just came out. He was in Brookwood and he just came out. And so but he's doing fantastic.
Awesome.
He's gotten his high school diploma. He is in college. He's moving,
All
and
right.
we want to make sure that he's gotten a job, because that was my fear, is that when they do come out, they have idle time, or they're put back into the same neighborhood where they got in trouble. So I want to make sure that, okay, you need a Metro card to get to work. Here's a Metro card. You need a button-down shirt or a tie to get on a job interview. Let's go do that.
Yes.
Whatever you need, we're going to be there to do it, and we're going to give you what you need so you can get what you need.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading, like I said, this Booker T. Washington made a statement, and he said that those who have accomplished the greatest results are those who never grow excited or lose self-control, but are always calm and self-possessed, patient and polite. Now, with all the dealings that you have with people, how do you feel like?
Oh, Victor, as soon as patience.
And tolerance and not losing your self-control. You know, I work in a restaurant and it could get pretty hectic. And sometimes I kind of lose it a little bit.
Yeah.
But in dealing with some of the people you deal with, how are you able to stay calm?
I have a great social worker that I work
Oh,
with,
good.
who I can always go and vent to.
Uh-huh.
But it's kind of crazy to me that it's the adults that make me crazy. It's not the youth. I can actually deal with them. It's the adults. So thank goodness for her. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just, I have to count 1, 2, 3 when she's not around. And just figure out what's the next move. What can I do now to make things better?
Right.
And that's always a calming place, is to think about what's the next move? What can I do better?
Yeah.
So that brings me peace, and to see youth progressing because we do have some youth who have returned back into the system, and that is very bothersome to
Yes,
me.
of
I'm
course.
bothered by that because we had a youth who was doing everything for him, and just making sure, listen, you have support, but for some reason it wasn't enough. And that kind of gets to me a little bit
Yeah,
because then I go, I have to do some self-reflecting, and I say, well, did I do everything that
right.
I needed to do? Did I do this? Did I do that? And I kind of go and I check boxes. So those are the things that make me a little crazy because I'm a thinker.
Yeah,
And some may say I overthink. I don't think you can overthink, but maybe you can. But I don't know.
I
But
think
I'm a
so.
thinker. I'm
Yeah,
a thinker, and I'm always thinking, well, could we have done this? Could we have done that? Well, maybe, we can do this, we can do that. And sometimes, sometimes it's just nothing you can do,
yeah, no, I
you
know.
know? And I have to come to terms with that a
Yeah,
lot.
right.
Yeah.
Now, who are some of the people on your team that you want to recognize and thank for all the work they're doing?
Wow. I have to thank my whole TTMES team. Um, I have to thank I work with a great social worker, Miss Alexander, and just the people that know my passion for what I do, my passion for helping, especially the youth. Because when I put this book out, I did not want everyone was like, even my mother, she goes, "You're not going to make any money off the book?" And I said, "No, I want all the proceeds for the book to go back into the organization to help the youth that I work with,
Of
my
course.
mentees." So, th- I mean, just to have a good team and for them to realize that and to realize my passion and why I do what I do and why I work so hard to make sure that the youth that come before me gets what they need. It's not just one person. It's not just two,
Yeah,
because I have interns as well that go in and out. And when they're there at, take trips, they are just amazing.
excellent.
They work really hard. They put in time that is just commendable. So
Great.
it's just an array of people that I go about and I thank, and I couldn't do this alone.
So, how can we get the book?
You can go on Amazon.com and you put in Encounters honoring 50 years of hip hop, and you can order the book. I think it's a great book, has great pictures. We're also, back in the 80s, we could get into a party with flyers. So, and getting into a party was $2. Now, if you go into Manhattan,
Oh, forget
it's
it.
it's like $60. I'm like,
Yeah,
what? I
I
would
know.
never. So yeah, Amazon.com, and just order the book and just know that when you order a book, it's all the proceeds are going back into the organization and they're helping a youth.
Excellent. I've asked you this before. What are you doing for yourself? How are you staying in great shape? You look beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. Um, I I think I don't get any sleep, so I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't get any sleep.
it's crazy.
Work, 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 work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rihanna. Work, work, work. Yeah, so that's it. Again, my passion is just making sure I did everything that I could do for the individuals that um, I'm working for, because again, my brother is the catalyst for my organization. And I know some folks always goes, so what's the MES? So I go, the MES is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And as long as I can encounter individuals who are getting that and they understand that, then I think that that gives me peace and joy. And once I have that peace, I'm I'm at I'm at peace
Yeah.
with it. It's okay. Yeah.
So like I said, I work at the Paradise in Verplank. We're actually there 76 years.
Wow.
And, I'm always around people. But for me, I need my time. I need time to be by myself. And, if I don't get that, then I can't unwind. And like you said, that whole meditation, peace of mind, relax. I think a lot of people, don't realize how important that is.
Yeah, it is. And I wish that I could really find, I have a lot of time to myself, but it's not, it's time that I'm thinking, because again, I'm that thinker and I'm thinking about what's my next move. How am I going to help? What can I do to make sure that this youth gets this?
Yeah.
What am I going to do to make sure that, this one is able to get what they need? So these are things that I'm definitely, they give me what I need. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing. Yeah.
So I actually called my brother Joe, and him and his girlfriend got us a bunch of clothes for you. And
Ah, yes,
yeah,
yes.
and went to the thrift shop. And I want to say hi to Becky and Donna. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, Donna.
Well, thank you, Donna. I didn't
Yeah,
forget.
no. So they read the list that you sent me, and I sent them, and they came up with some good stuff. So hopefully you
Thank you
guys
so
will be able
much.
to use it.
And hopefully my youth will be able to use it. We're going to go through it,
Yes.
and we're going to section off who we think needs what, and we're going to pass everything out. So we're just grateful for all that we get, and
Yeah.
to anyone who's donating, thank you so much. Again, we had folks donate on Giving Tuesday, and it's just amazing. And again, just know that any donations that we get, it's going right back into the organization, to our mentees, to
Yes.
ensure that our mentees are getting what they need.
Excellent.
And if they need, travel, anything, if they need to, wear something, or they need something for something, we're there for them. So
Excellent.
those are the things that we need, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So I do want to thank, of course, the thrift shop. And, like I said, I've been so blessed. I grew up in a small community. We all went to church. And it's, most of the people I know are either from church or come to the restaurant or went to school with. And these are bonds that last a lifetime.
Absolutely.
I'm now 58, and I'm still best friends with my best friend from first grade.
Absolutely.
And these are all great connections, and when you hear about the youth that you're dealing with, that they're going through these things, it's heartbreaking. So
Yes. And that's what we want them to know, that, you can have those bonds. You can create those memories with someone. But because so much happens in their life, that they don't get to create those memories. And that's a bit sad.
that is.
And we want to do away with that
Yep.
as much as we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me
Yeah, well,
again and again.
I
And
appreciate-
everyone, please go get the
Yes.
book. Go get the book, and you get to see me. Go get the book.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much for
Thank you
everything
for
do.
having
I really
me.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the community show, and any chance you can get to volunteer or help out, it's so needed in this community. So thanks for watching.